Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm Rachel O'Leary, and today we're going to do a succulent planter. I picked up this earthenware dish, I guess you could call it, at my local garden center, which is Stoffers of Kissel Hill. It was normally $59.99 and I got it for 20 bucks. Actually, I think it may have been 20% off that too. I'm not sure. Anyway, whenever I go to the garden store, I always look for deals like this. Stuff that's on clearance, on sale, or whatever, because it doesn't go bad, and paying full price is just insane. So I'm pretty stoked that I found this one. I've been looking for a shallow tray for a succulent garden for a while. I also had picked up a ton of clearance succulents at Home Depot. The other day, I spent like 15 bucks and I got 3 of these baskets. I can tell that they're just in standard potting mix, which is not super awesome. So we're gonna today mix up my potting mix, which is equal parts poultry grit, perlite, and coconut coir. It makes for a well-draining soil that still holds a bit of moisture, and repot these succulents. So let's get started with the mix. I have a trash can of coconut coir here that I use. I'm just going to go ahead and add some water to it so it's a little bit easier to work with. It's pretty dense in here. And then I have a little 2-gallon bucket that I'm just going to alternate putting in the coconut coir. If I can freaking, oh, it's like impenetrable, it's so hard. The coconut coir, the poultry grit, and the perlite. I'll mix it up, add it to the planter, and then we'll take a look at the plants. This was like multiple bricks. That's been sitting all winter, and to get into. So I'll fill a third of the bucket with the coconut coir, then poultry grit, and the reason I'm doing this outside is you can see how dusty this stuff is. And then I'll just mix to incorporate. This is the same mix that I used in my succulent garden that's made out of that concrete sink. And it's done really, really well for me. I also used it in my indoor succulent garden. See, this is what it looks like. I'm going to grab some flat stones to cover the holes in this thing just so it doesn't all pour out. Pour this in. Finish mixing. Looks like I need just a little bit more. And I'm just adding more coir because I have the most of that. Now, I suppose you could probably also use something like peat. I like to use the coconut husk because it's a more renewable resource. And it really does an excellent job. It's really easy to work with. It's easy to hydrate. Peat can be not quite as easy to hydrate. There we go. Then, as I mentioned, I have these 3 buckets of succulents, which I'm just going to unpot. I'm going to try and be pretty careful here. You can see they're just in plugs in here. Some little sneaker ones too. I didn't even notice this little guy. Looks like it's mostly dead. We'll see if we can't revive it. This looks like it's a straight up peat mix that these guys are in, which can kind of hold too much water for them, so that's probably why you can see they're starting to deteriorate here at the bottom. So as I'm unpotting these from their existing pots, I'm just going to try and remove a lot of this peat. There's another little guy stuck in there. I'm not sure if that's a baby off this one, but it's pretty crammed. I'm trying to be relatively gentle with their roots. And I'm going to go through and remove any dying stuff from the bottom of each of these. Whoa. Now these are obvious cold hardy hens and chicks. I may move those out to my regular garden instead of with these other tropicals. Most of these that are in these planters can take temperatures down to about 50 degrees. They're in bad shape though. I mean, look at this poor thing. They were so crowded only. Alright, that's one unpotted. On to the next. I'm going to go ahead and take all these apart and then we'll take a look together and see what we've got. So these all appear to be sempervivums that would be cold tolerant. So I'm probably going to move them into my outdoor garden. And then there's all of these which appear to be tropicals. So I'm going to try and fit them into this pot in a way that looks nice, and then we'll take another look. So this is what I ended up with. I elected to not put a top dressing. A top dressing would just be decorative pebbles or sand or whatever around all the plants. I'm going to pick a location for this here on my deck where I'll remember to water it if needed, but the reality is I probably won't really need to water it. The plants do need a bit of rehab. A lot of them had a lot of broken leaves, a lot of dead areas, but there was still a lot of really good plant to work with here. So I'm hopeful they'll come back. I may end up removing this plant here because it's toxic to cats, but my cats won't encounter it since it's on my deck. But we'll see. But, you know, 3 of those little tiny baskets into this one big planter. And I think it looks pretty nice. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. And stay tuned. Thanks as always for your support. I wanted to mention as well that I saved a lot of the broken leaves. This poor dude here just looked awful. All its leaves were broken off, so I'm just laying them on top of some potting soil, and we'll see if they root. And if they root, then I'll have a bunch more to give away to friends and family. Also, a big thank you to Mary, Jason, and John for their $25 per month Patreon patronage, and to all of you who have so overwhelmingly shown me support. I'm absolutely floored. But I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing this little succulent planter. We will get it in a nice place, give it a drink, and see how it does. Also, while at the garden store, I found this elephant ear, and one of you guys had mentioned in the comments this week about if I'd ever used that plant, and I haven't. And since it was there and it was on sale, I grabbed it, potted it just in some of my aquatic soil with the pot lined with newsprint again. threw a cap of some pea gravel, stuck it in the waterfall basket, as this is a plant that'll get 5 feet tall, I believe. And it's just unusual because of its really cool foliage. And then I just stuck some lava rock around it in the pot and wedged some creeping Jenny in there that should grow down and across the surface. We'll go into more detail when I pot all the rest of the budget bins, but I don't know, I couldn't help myself today. So sorry I didn't make a dedicated video, but I could not resist picking this plant up today. I just think it's really cool, and I love the way that it's diffusing the waterfall. I love the way it sounds. I don't love the way the motorcycle in the background sounds. But you can see this bin is coming along. Still a lot of things I want to do, so stay tuned. I know a lot of people had a lot of comments about this visible hose. That will be addressed. I couldn't put the fitting, I guess I could have put it in the front, but, you know, live and learn. I was experimenting. I did end up picking up another one of these boxes to make another waterfall feature, which I may do for the whiskey barrel one. We'll have to see. I also picked up some pet grass for Pepper. As you can see, she's quite enjoying it. I still need to make the planters for in here. And I have a bunch of wheatgrass seeds to plant in order to be able to have planters to change out for them so that they can eat some of this stuff, and I'll still have more growing.